We are at war, still. Now, it's not the type of war that you're probably thinking about. It's the war for talent. It's a challenge that businesses have contended with for decades. And the term war for talent, which was coined a little over 20 years ago, suggests that it's becoming increasingly difficult for companies to find and keep talented employees. Recent discourse on the matter would like us to consider things like cultural fit or cultivation of talent to sustain our workforce, but it's complicated. It's not a one-size-fits-all issue, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. What makes you stay with your company? Is it the free coffee in the break room? Is it medical benefits? What would make you leave? Right now, the conversation in technology is about attracting and recruiting female talent to the industry. It's what's referred to as our pipeline problem. The belief is that there are not enough women in the industry because there are not enough women with computer science degrees in the pipeline. What I know is that the ones who are there will eventually leave. There is a mass exodus happening right now. Women spend between 5 and 12 years in technology and then leave at more than twice the rate of men due to harassment, discrimination, poor treatment, lack of opportunities for advancement, or any combination thereof. And it costs tech companies $16 billion annually to replace talent that's left just due to poor treatment. So, should they continue to attract and recruit female talent to the industry if we eventually leave? On one hand, I can think of 16 billion reasons why they should. But on the other, in a time when that smart device in your pocket that's turned off, or that piece of software that you use to do your job requires updating every 3 to 6 months, and you've got a pool of highly qualified technical women wanting to do the work, what I don't understand is, why is that not perceived as good business? As a saltwater Gullah from the low country of South Carolina, I'm a descendant of the enslaved Africans brought here from West Africa, who live along the sea islands and the coastal plains of the Southeast. Gullah Geechie describes our heritage, our way of life. It is a beautiful and unique blending of African dialect and Creole. We are a beautiful and unique people. And as a Gullah from the low country of South Carolina, I lead a multi-million-dollar technology program. Critics would say that I do not look the part, that I am not the right gender, that I am not the right color, but I am here. I've learned to survive. I've learned to survive and thrive in technology for 19 years because I, as we say in Gullah, learn to go fish. Learn to go fish. There is a muscle, a type of staying power needed to anchor yourself to something that you truly care about, despite of the ebb and flows of the industry, any industry. And what comes to mind for me is the iconic photo of Rosie the Riveter by J. Howard Miller. We can do it. I love this picture. It emerged around World War II, and it was used to imbue feminine patriotism and pride. To me, this photo represents feminine creativity, innovation, resilience, adaptability, and hope. Back then, the idea of working for factories and shipyards resonated with a lot of people. Women and their families migrated north and even moved out west, including women of color. They too sought opportunities, but faced many hardships and were often relegated to doing the dirtiest and lowest paying jobs. See, they didn't look the part either. For some, they were the wrong gender. And for others, they were the wrong color, yet they persisted. I share all of that to set the backdrop of what was happening in the country at the time because while all of this was going on, There was someone in my family who embodied feminine creativity, innovation, resilience, adaptability, and hope. Meet Rebecca, my great-grandmother. This photo was taken around the late 1940s, around the conclusion of World War II. Rebecca was a widow who had to be very creative to support herself and her family, so she learned Fugelfish. My great-grandmother taught my grandmother Fugelfish, and my grandmother taught me Fugelfish. And I believe that we can use the principles of fishing, the Gullah Geechie way, to build that muscle and to help create a lasting legacy for women in technology. To go fish, my great-grandmother had a specific spot and would say with a high level of certainty, "Una have to know what una want." You have to know what you want. We never went fishing without the expectation of catching something. I was taught to be prepared, to be particular, and to be persistent. Child, go a day clean. Child, go early. You'd say the early bird gets the worm. She'd say, child, go a day clean. Day clean means the break of dawn, a new day. Give yourself the opportunity to see your situation with new eyes. Reframe it if necessary. Search for your spot. Search for your spot. Do not be afraid to carve out a niche for yourself. Create one if necessary. Toss your net a CACI line gal. Toss your net or cast your line girl. In that picture, that's not a fancy fishing rod, that's a sugar cane. Her makeshift fishing pole. If we wanted to bait crab, we wouldn't use the same thing to catch shrimp, or fish. Figure out what tools to use. Look at the water. Look at the water. We have to see ourselves in it to be successful. When we were at the ferry, I was afraid to go to the edge. I thought I would fall in. But once I made the decision to ground myself in my environment, I now go straight to the edge, looking down, fully expecting to see myself. And when I look beyond myself, all I see are opportunities. Paid on buckra no mind. Now, admittedly, I didn't quite understand everything she said to me. But Bakra literally meant master or overseer in my great-grandmother's time. It was a term she was taught as a little girl. Master, overseer. I didn't say it was a term of endearment. But when you do not have civil rights and you are constantly regarded as other and treated as such, language becomes an incredible form of empowerment. It's so easy to look at what other people have and think that what they have is better, which means that we feel like we don't have enough. At the ferry, I would get distracted. I'd see those guys come with their boats and their fancy rods, and some of them wore camouflage to go fishing. But my attention was elsewhere. And as I'm with her and I'm looking, I would hear her voice boom, "Pay them buck no mind." And I would immediately come back to that moment because it wasn't about her past. It wasn't about my future. It was about that present and being there with her in that moment because she knew, remember, we never went fishing without the expectation of getting something. So she knew that if I was focused on them, that I wasn't getting mine. Last one. Good if I keep no good torn back. What do you think? Huh? You speak Gullah now. If it's good, keep it. If it's not, throw it back. We have to learn to say no. Women often believe that whatever it is we get, we have to accept. We are no longer relegated to doing the dirtiest and lowest paying jobs. Disrupt the industry. And when you've gotten your prize, tell somebody about it. I got a big one. Women have to learn to tell our own fishtails and not wait for someone else to do it for us. I too have faced harassment, discrimination, poor treatment, and lack of opportunities for advancement in my career. It is real. But here's my truth. Una have to know what una want, and I know what I want. I know what I represent. It is that same feminine creativity, innovation, resilience, adaptability, and hope that Rosie represented and that Rebecca embodied. For my ancestors, I am their dream, their hope fully realized. For Rebecca, I am her legacy. Thank you.